Hi everyone, Jason here. Today we are going to do a quick installation of the sealant into the tire, and I'm going to point out just some little pain points that could happen. If you're unaware, it might make the installation just a little bit difficult, so I'm going to make sure that it's nice and simple and streamlined for you. Alright, so first of all, make sure obviously the valve is somewhere in the top half of the wheel. It doesn't have to be exactly at the 12 or anything, just as long as it's in the top half. Obviously remove your valve cap and ensure that you store all of the items that you're taking off there safely, and then get your valve tool remover with whatever it looks like. This is my own personal one, and then you'll notice that the air starts escaping, but it's important to right now, as it gets out, to put your fingers over there and catch the little guy, because the air is escaping, and we'll keep that away. Secure this for later. Don't be alarmed that the tire is going to go down. We are going to re-inflate it. We have a re-inflator here. If there is a chance that your tire is going to stay flat for a little while, what you can do is you can either put a jack or place some bricks under the car to actually keep the weight of the car off. You shouldn't leave your tire in a deflated position like this for longer than a few minutes. So for now this is going to be fine. Alright, we just wait until all of the air pressure escapes, and then obviously we remove the cap from the bottle, and then we take our pipe. Now the pipe is deliberately designed to fit very tightly on here. So what we're going to do is not just push it on, it won't go on like that. I have to push it onto the first threads and then start turning it. And then it will actually hook in, and we can actually make sure that we get a nice tight, that is intentional, a nice tight seal there. You can see that it's properly screwed on. I've actually screwed that onto there, making sure that it can't come off, because you don't want any mess to be created. And then on this side, again, same thing. This goes inside the bottle cap, and you'll just need to make sure that that can be pushed inside there. So sometimes it's a little wiggly, but again, the importance is to get a nice tight seal. So I'm pushing it in as deep as I can. It doesn't have to go far, because you can see that we've chosen pipe that is actually going to give you a nice snug fit. You don't want this to pop out as you're going. Alright, now let's look at the volumes. Obviously you will have already checked out, you can see the various volumes on the side of the bottle that tell you how much you should be putting in a tire. If you have unusual tires, we can also obviously give you those specs, and there is a tire chart to give you the exact amount. And it is important to make sure that when we are putting in the sealant into each tire, that as much as possible you are accurate on each tire. You don't want to put in too much in one, less in another, and so on, because that is going to cause kind of imbalancing and things of that nature, and it has nothing to do with the sealant. It's just simply that you haven't put the same quantities in. Alright, so that's quite important. Alright, so we know now that for this particular tire we're putting in 500 mils. Now we've got a scale on the side here, and people sometimes wonder, why is it upside down? Well, it means nothing when the bottle is upright. It only means something when we turn the bottle upside down, and suddenly you'll see it's obviously correct way up, and we can see the different amounts, and depending on how much you need to put in the tire, it's pretty easy to see. It's in 250 ml quantities. This is a litre bottle, so it's 250, 250, 250, etc. There's the 500 ml mark. So all we have to do is squirt everything out until we get to 500 mils. That's simple. Alright, so I'll start pushing, and you'll notice that it starts going through. Don't get stressed out, don't try and rush this, just give it a little bit of pressure, squeeze in there. If you're struggling with hand strength, you can also put it up against the tire and just kind of, one hand only, mom. And you can just push that in there and just keep on going. Now, it's important to notice something here, that like with any bottle, if you push a liquid out of it, then it's going to cause a vacuum inside the bottle, and you can see it's actually become squashed. Now, there's no way that you can look at that gauge and be accurate at this point. What you need to do is put air back into the bottle so that you can get the shape back up, to make sure that your accuracy remains correct here. So how do we do that? We could take this all off again, put air back into the bottle, start all over again, but that's tiring. I'm going to show you a quick trick. You simply unscrew this a little bit, not too much so that it comes right off, but just so much that there's a little bit of air movement, and then I just squeeze the bottle, massage it a bit, and it goes back to, and I can see that I've done that much right here. So I've got some work to still do. So again, I'm just going to keep on pushing. Nice good flow there. It's nice and strong on both sides. No risk of it popping off. So I'm just going to keep on doing this, and I'm going to head down, and I want to make sure that when I'm getting close to the 500, or I think I'm getting close, that I stop to put more air in the bottle as regularly as possible, because the last thing that I'd want to do is go past that point. So that's quite important. So you'll see we're at that point now. We've only got a little bit to go. This is where I'm going to start getting very, very careful indeed, because I don't want to be inaccurate. I've put 500 mils into each tire. I want to make sure that every tire has the same amount. Very, very important. All right, so let's squeeze that down, and it's flowing, and I'm going to just stop and kind of check and see, okay, I've got a little way to go still. I'd rather be cautious here because I can't take it out of the tire, but I can put a little bit more in. So let's not go too far. All right, let's get down to there. And look, I'm getting very close to 500. In fact, I'm almost on 500. So I'm going to just say, I'm going to give it a little squeeze and give it a little shake and say, that looks like 500. Make sure my bottle's perfect before I decide. And there we go, 500 on the dot. All right, that's the kind of accuracy I'd like you to aim for, and that'll ensure that you have evenness of all of your tires and no problems with the installation. Now look how easy that was. Now I'm just going to put the bottle down there, take a break for the moment. And which side should I now undo first? If I undo this side, everything that's in the tube is going to spill all out of here, and I'm trying to do the cleanest installation that I can. So let's try and master this. So all I'm going to do is turn the bottle and screw this off so that I can get this down here. And I'm actually going to, I see there's quite a lot of sealant around the valve there. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just suck this back in and make sure that there's nothing spilling out, and then I'm going to screw this off the valve, and voila. And you can see there's a tiny little bit inside the valve there, incredibly small amount, and the rest is in the tube. Simple as that. Very, very neat indeed. And I can simply unscrew the cap right now, and I know that I am going to do a reverse trick. I'm going to actually squeeze all of that out of there, tighten that up, and then squeeze it out. Look what happens, it sucks it all back into the bottle. Nice and neat and easy. And if I really want to, I mean, this is water soluble, it's not going to do anything, but I'd prefer not to have that in that valve like that. So what I'm going to do here is, while I've got just plain air in my bottle, I'm going to just put this back on here and just give it a little squirt of air. All right, and I'm going to just give it a little squirt, and look what's happened. It's just blown everything that was inside the valve into there. You could also just take this pipe, stick it on the end, and just give it a little blow. Anything like that will work just fine. So now I have, I'm going to recover my little valve insert right there, pop it back inside, and grab my valve insertion tool and just tighten that up. Go all the way down to the bottom until it starts getting tight, and then just give it that little extra bit. Not too much, all right? You don't want to strip that valve. And then, of course, make sure that you've got your tire pressure ready to go so that you can reinflate your tire. And then all good. A nice clean installation, and you can do just the same. Remember, keep your quantities exactly the same or as close as possible, and you've got a nice neat installation. You can do this at a petrol station and use their air. It can just take a few minutes per tire. All right, from Jason, out.